So the other day, Ilia Topuria did an open workout leading up to his massive title fight against Charles Oliveira. And listen, man, I'm a junkie for watching open workouts. I'm a fight nerd, man. I love the X's and O's of mixed martial arts. And I'm telling you right now, this is one of the most impressive open workouts that I've ever seen. And everyone go, Jake, you're glazing Ilia Topuria, man. Listen. I've been watching this guy for a very long time, and I have spotted the talents of this dude prior to him getting to the UFC. And when I tell you this is the best boxer in the history of the UFC, I'm not joking. And people are starting to understand that now. But what you're going to see in this video here, we're going to take a look at a little bit of pad work, but I really want us to focus on what I like to call the real feel sparring segment of this open workout. So I'll go ahead and link this full video down below by MacLife. But it's guys, open workouts with the open sparring tells you a lot, because this isn't going to be hard sparring. This is going to be Ilia Topuria in there, bare, no gloves, just moving forward, working on game planning. And you're going to see Guram, who actually is trained with Ilia Topuria quite a bit, as well as Khamzat Chimaev. And he is going to be doing a tremendous job replicating Charles Oliveira. And you're going to see exactly how Ilia is going to attack Charles come fight night, man. And I've done these breakdowns before with Alex Pereira hitting pad work. Man, fighting, it's a simple but yet complex thing at the same time. And when fighters do stuff like this, they're essentially showing you their game plan and how they are going to approach their opponent. But let's first start with the pad work, as he's going to be hitting the noodles, which is a very smart thing to be doing, obviously close to a fight, because with the noodles, you're working on precision. He's got the harness on to where he's getting a little bit of resistance, working on power, getting that torque going, and hitting the noodles, working on your defense, but also the precision and hitting the smaller targets. So let's take a look. I'll react and we'll break this thing down. That's why the pool noodles are great. Work on your boxing, work on your rolls, your slips, blocking. Low risk for damaging your hand, especially this close to a fight. I mean, the speed, man. This guy's even more dangerous at lightweight. That pull two's filthy. And notice how everything's straight. Notice how everything's straight. There's none of this big ooga booga, whoa, these guys that throw these big looping shots. That everything is tight. It's technical. Love watching guys like Topuria, Jack Della, Joshua Van. Excellent boxing technique. Piotr Jan. This is how it's done, man. Like, I'm a junkie for a good boxer in MMA, and this guy, man, I mean, look how tight the technique is, and this is the small details, right? Hitting the noodles, obviously for the precision, but as well as working on your defense. They know Charles is predominantly a Muay Thai guy, right? And Charles is not known for his defense. And one of the weaknesses to Muay Thai style of fighters, they do not move their head very well. They rely on what we like to call binoculars, right? Where they got their hands up, they can parry shots, and we see subtle head movements, but we're not seeing the traditional boxer where the head's moving all over the place from a Muay Thai style of guy. And that is the biggest weakness in the game of Charles. He stands very, very square, very straight, at you, just like a Muay Thai guy. His midsection is available, and those straight shots down the middle, those are going to be the money shots. And you're seeing that with Ilia here, working on perfect, clean, straight shots down the middle, because they are going to land on Charles all night long, man. I'm telling you right now. I mean, that counter right hand is wicked fast, man. And notice how it's working on the pressure. Constantly moving forward. That's where Ilia does his best work. It's crazy speed, man. Blocking leg kicks, head kicks. A lot more strategy than just someone hitting a noodle, man. Working on your reactions. And then here we go. Okay, so here's the sparring. Okay, this is real feel sparring where there's no shin guards on. There's no gloves, okay? Now, I want you to pay close attention to this, all right? Look at how good of a job Guram is at pretending to be Charles, man. He's got that Thai upright Muay Thai stance, and what we see, look, there's the hands up from Guram, right? And Ilia Topuria is using this lead hand right here to frame and try to blind Charles Oliveira, obviously to set up the jab. But that lead hand is going to allow Ilia to do quite a few things. Jab upstairs, jab to the body, but also blind the vision of Charles Oliveira to sneak that perfect straight right hand in there, but also to use this left hand as he's framing, we saw this in the Holloway fight, to pull that right hand down and open up that right hand to then also follow up with a left hook. We saw him do this against Max Holloway. This is the perfect type of game plan for a guy that is a taller, rangy guy like Oliveira. We saw Ilia do this very, very well to Max Holloway. You're going to see quite a few things because Max stands in more of a Muay Thai stance, right? He's a little bit wider in his base, a little bit more boxing-esque, but he's very square, a lot like Charles. So watch the lead hand play of Ilia and how when Guram is going to throw these head kicks, these leg kicks, it's very evident to me the game plan is when Charles kicks, they are going to counter with the box. And we all know Ilia is a tremendous boxer. The game plan is when Charles kicks, we step in and counter. It's exactly what Magomed Ankalaev did to Alex Pereira. Pereira has tremendous kicks. You're probably not always going to be able to stop them. How do you make them pay? They're going to be out of position while they throw that kick. Step in and make them pay with the boxing. That's what you're going to see. Blocking that high kick everyone wants to try. There it is, right hand to the body. Giving him something to think about with a level change. But you see how when Guram stepped in, Ilia wasn't just, skirting all the way back across the octagon. Just slid just out of range in order to be able to counter. One of his best shots is that pull two that he even landed on Max Holloway. He kind of slides back with that high guard, jumps out of range, and fires with that right hand, man. This guy is so technical, and watch how he's kind of feinting the level changes, trying to give Charles maybe something to think about to where he can open up a right hand up top if Charles is defending well against the boxing, which I don't anticipate Charles being able to defend very well against the boxing of Ilia Topuria. But you're seeing how this guy is thinking, man. They are strategically going to break down Charles, dude. This is fascinating stuff to me. Here comes the knee, slides just out of the way. There he is, the counter. No wasted movement. There's that lead hand play. Blocks the head kick. Slides just out of the way, back on the pressure. Active lead hand right to the body. Here you go, inside boxing. Now, you see how Guram keeps throwing that left high kick up there? We saw the only times Ilia Topuria has been hurt in his pro career is actually twice. Once on the regional scene and then once against Jai Herbert, which actually, that fight was at 55. So the idiots out there, Topuria's power ain't going to translate. His most brutal KO of his career was against Jai Herbert at 155 pounds. So that narrative's absolute BS. I believe Ilia has power that could translate all the way up to welterweight. I mean, this guy, the torque, the power that he generates, I'm telling you, he's the pound-for-pound hardest hitter in the sport, man. And you see how Guram's giving him all these front kicks, the little teep kicks to the thigh, oblique shots, the knees. They're anticipating putting a tremendous amount of pressure on Charles, but they know that Charles is not just going to accept being backed up against the fence, so they're expecting a chaotic flying knee, those front kicks to try to back Ilia up to where Ilia knows probably going to have to eat a few, front kicks, but I'm willing to get to the inside, close him down, and if Charles tries to clinch, we know Charles has devastating knees. He's got that good Thai style to where Ilia just started to rip to the body to try to make Charles pay and deter him from wanting to clinch up in this fight, but you see him right back on the pressure, getting in the face of Guram, who is pretending to be Charles, obviously. Body work, body work. Anticipates the shot. Now watch this. It's such a small detail. So he anticipated the shot, right? I really want you to watch this, okay? So Guram takes this shot here, right? They're anticipating that if Charles is putting that kind of pressure on, whether it's early in the fight, they're backing him up to the fence, making him uncomfortable, they're anticipating that Charles has been training with Michael Phelps. He's going to be diving out here, dog, looking for these takedowns, which is essentially what Guram did. And because Ilia's got that low center of gravity, he's right here. He's kind of swaying back and forth, and he's seeing these opportunities. He's got that hand up framing, and he sees the shot coming. But watch what he does here when Guram shoots in. Watch this. He doesn't sit there and try to allow what would be Charles to pull guard. That is the most dangerous the most dangerous spots to be with Charles is in his guard, and if Charlie is able to get to your back. Those are the two most dangerous spots, I would say, with Oliveira. Now watch what Ilia does here. Immediately circles to the back. No. We ain't playing that game with Charles. We're not going to allow Charles to swivel his head through, get his hips forward, and pull guard here. We're not playing the jiu-jitsu game here with Charles. We're going to swivel around, take the back, and then we can work from there, right? That allows Ilia to either separate, get back to space, or it puts him in a dominant position to where he could even take the back of Charles or threaten him or get on top and land some ground and pound. But it is very clear to me, while Ilia has excellent grappling, he has very good wrestling, good jiu-jitsu skills, they don't want to play that game with Charles in this fight. I believe that they will only want to play that game, obviously, if Charles forces the wrestling and the grappling. Obviously, they will answer. Or if Ilia clubs him on the feet, they could go for a club and sub because he absolutely has the ability to submit Charles. But this, to me, is very telling here. They are not wanting to necessarily play the grappling game with Charles. They want to negate his guard, and they do not want to allow Charles, obviously, onto their back because we all know how good Charles is. He's the most prolific finisher in UFC history. Very, very smart stuff here. Right on the pressure. Boom. See, Guram tries to clinch up. Watch, here it goes again. Now, when Ilia leans forward and he kind of flicks that right hand out there, we used to see McGregor do this back in the day, right? Where he'd be in that southpaw stance, kind of square his shoulders up and would flick that left hand out there, his backhand. And the reason for that, Ilia is kind of trying to play, see if he can get you to answer to where he can either slip out of the way, pull back, and then let that right hand go. I'm telling you, man, it is a significant boxing advantage on the side of Ilia Topuria, and he knows coming into this fight that Charles does have the kicking advantage, right? Ilia's got a nasty calf kick, but it's going to be hard to land that because of how good Charles is in that Muay Thai stance. He's light on that lead leg so he could check or just lift his leg up like we saw him do against Gaethje to where that leg just sweeps right underneath. But it is very, very meticulous in how Ilia is approaching this guy, man. This isn't just some dude out here going through the motions. This is the game plan, dog. This is exactly how he is going to attack Charles. And that straight right hand, they have a lot of confidence, you could tell, in landing it. Blinding with the lead hand, touching with the jab, seeing if they, putting water in the basement, as Teddy Atlas would say, which will then, obviously punish the body of Charles, take the wind out of the sail, but ultimately get those hands to drop. That binoculars guard that a lot of those Muay Thai guys use, right? Charles is good here, but when those hands come down and that head doesn't move, that is where Ilia is going to be able to step in and land those perfect, clean shots, man. But notice this, small detail again here, right? And I'm just trying to walk you through, man, and tell you, when I was watching this, I'm seeing these details. Watch this small-ass detail. Watch this. Front kick. Look where Ilia Topuria went. He just ate a front kick to the midsection, but watch where Ilia Topuria goes when he's eating these front kicks. Boom. A lot of guys back up. They go shooting back out towards the monster logo. Ilia goes, pressure, pressure, pressure. They're not worried about these front kicks of Oliveira. They're obviously going to be annoying, but look at this. As soon as Guram throws them back on the pressure, take away the space, try to get inside that kicking range. A lot of guys, they get hit with the teep, they back up, they're like, and then they back up, And now you got to restart the process all over again. Watch how he answers. Moves forward, closer. Boom, body shots. Pressing him up against the fence. Just tosses him. There's that calf kick. See, I anticipate Charles being able to get out of the way of that. Okay, so now we'll take a look at just a little bit of the mitt work here. But guys, that was literally the game plan. That's exactly how they're going to attack Charles Oliveira. They do not want to play the ground game with him. And if they do, it is going to be because Ilia, maybe it'll be close to the end of the round. I don't think it makes it through the first. I think Ilia knocks him out in round number 1. But say it does play on. At the end of the round, secure a takedown just to say I took down Charles, or, win on control time, whatever it might be. They're not coming here to grapple with Charles. They understand the threat that Charles provides when you let him play the jiu-jitsu game. They're not going to play it. They're not going to play it. Ilia is going to try to get on the inside, stay at that boxing range, right at the edge of range, or all the way in. And if Charles wants to clinch, they're going to punish his body with body shots. And on the outside, you will see Ilia frame with that lead hand. He will keep it active. That right hand will be very tight, and you will see subtle head movement. I don't know that we will see the super drastic boxing head movement to where he's kind of dipping and weaving underneath, because Charles is going to try to throw knees up the middle. He'll try to throw those kicks, and I also think Charles will try to throw those leg kicks to attack that boxing base of Ilia in this fight. But this guy, man, he is a meticulous preparer. You can see how dialed in and how much he understands how he is going to attack Charles. But let's watch just a little bit of mitt work here, because again, you're going to see the theme here, right, guys? He's not just in here just, oh yeah, pull out the big round pad, man, start throwing these big power shots like Conor McGregor. That's not what he's doing. You see him here, he's nice and technical, the lead hand's moving, he's very active, you see the movement, boom, 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 shoulder roll, gets out of the way, you see him dip underneath, and then you see him just touching the pad, straight, roll under, all pressure, all moving forward. They do not want Charles to be dictating the pace. They want to be controlling the fight for as long as it lasts. Ilia does such a good job of cutting off the cage as well. Boom. There it is, double jab right hand. Snappy shots, man. I'm telling you, this guy's going to be more dangerous at 55, which is crazy. Everything comes from where it's supposed to. Technique over ooga booga all day, man. Nasty uppercut. That thing's got some sting. Slide right out of range, back on it. Poor Charles, dog. I mean, there's no wasted movement, man. There's zero wasted movement. And these shots are, you don't see them, right? He's got the shoulders hurled over. He's got that nice guard right here, and he's just here, and boom, everything is straight, and everything is here. It's like watching a very solid traditional-based boxer, right? Throwing punches doesn't make you the best boxer, right? It's the technique. It's the way that you rotate, the way you defend, the way you move, the way you stand. Ilia Topuria, man, I'm telling you, this is the best boxer that we've ever seen in the UFC. He absolutely is. This guy, if anyone was going to cross over into a pro boxing ring and win, it would be Ilia. His technique is perfect. There's zero wasted movement. Now, in the fights, he tends to, at times, especially in the first round, he tends to overswing. He gets a little excited, a little wild, but then it's like, Trevor Whitman with Gaethje, slow down, right? Trevor Whitman will tell him after the first round, we see Alexandre in the corner of Ilia. They'll kind of compose them, and they'll be like, listen, let's get back to kind of what we're doing here. And then you see him really fight behind the jab. He really starts to get it moving. Everything comes from where it's supposed to. His boxing is technically perfect. The torque, the power, the eyesight, the countering instincts. This man is knocking Charles Oliveira out, I believe, in the first round at UFC 317.